workforce. That one is also there, and you can try to be a part of that. It's another training, another free course. You can register for that when I bring up the registration link. Cumulatively, this year alone, over 4,000 people have registered for all our courses. Over 4,000 people have registered for all our courses and trainings this year alone. And we thank God for what we are doing and the impact we're given. Restoring your mind. Today in the series, we're going to tell you why Nigeria is poor, and we're going to break down what poverty means. The reason Nigeria is poor is because some of our leaders make us pass over opportunities regularly. When a generation is made to pass over opportunities regularly, then poverty becomes the lot of that generation. The generation does not thrive. How do we pass over opportunities regularly? By the deeds of our leaders. A leader that steals state resources, let's say the state is supposed to make over 20 billion and the leader steals about 2 billion. What the leader has done is he has created an opportunity gap for poverty by 2 billion. When you now calculate how much most of the leaders have stolen over the years and has been lost to corruption, you can calculate the opportunity denied for a lot of Nigerians. That's the same opportunity that could have been used to put people in school, but it's been stolen and it's been stashed in foreign bank accounts. It was said that one of our leaders had monies, or they've repatriated funds worth over 5 billion or close to 5 billion dollars back from him. Just one of our leaders. So if one leader, they've repatriated funds close to 5 billion back from him, do you know what $5 billion will have done to a lot of other people and how it would have ameliorated poverty? Just imagine, somebody was telling me only yesterday that they brought a contract forward that will have really helped the government. But because people were concerned about what is their own cost, what is the need for me, they didn't allow the contract sail through. And the problem ensued. For that contract that they didn't sail through, do you know how much the nation has lost? For that opportunity that is denied due to tribalism and nepotism, do you know how the nation has been denied of greater possibility? So anytime we deny people opportunity based on race, ethnicity, where they come from, their coloration, we create poverty. And anytime we create poverty, the nation continues to wallow in disrespect, in disregard for the life of the citizens. Why are we poor today? Why is it that we can't feed ourselves? Because we have people that deny us the opportunity to be able to feed ourselves. For every time military officers are denied the weapons they need to fight insecurity and farmers cannot produce, do you know what it does to the state of play of our economy? So the reason why we have poverty is because we have leaders that have denied opportunities. Somebody told me a big company wanted to come to Nigeria many years ago. A big French retail company. But because of what some people in high places wanted and they didn't give, they frustrated the effort. For every effort and opportunity frustrated for people to come and invest in Nigeria, do you know what it does to the country? Do you know what it does to the developmental prospects of the people? Do you know the lives that could have been transformed that never gets transformed? That's the kind of environment we have. So why do we have poverty? We have poverty because people are being denied. I mean, look at the case of the core member girl. People are sending me that is now being denied because she made her voice heard and she cried about the poverty, and they said she insulted people that were high up. For the fact that you have denied that girl NYSC because of what happened, do you think you can stop that girl's destiny? You see, what we forget is that leaders will come and they will go. But what remains? So, when we deny people, we try to pull them down. We try to make their plans not see the light of day. We try to make their ideas not thrive. We think we are doing somebody else, but we're doing ourselves. And that's why poverty continues. For everybody, we've denied opportunities at work. That's how poverty comes. The Bible talks about a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hand to sleep. So shall poverty come. So we deny a girl, a core member, because she has a right to express herself, as she expressed herself based on the state of things that is happening in the country. And then the next thing, we deny her certificates. If she doesn't have options in life, that's how poverty sets in. Poverty sets in also through injustice. There are many scientists that have written about it. The likes of Esther Duflo, and Albanagi, that won Nobel Prize because of their study of poverty. They have seen that poverty largely is centered around denial of opportunity. When you deny people opportunity, poverty sets in. We can wipe poverty off in Africa and in Nigeria. We can only do that if we start to ensure that we stop denying people opportunity. Amdi Grills, you say you want to teach people how to cook. Go ahead and teach people how to cook. I think it's on Instagram here. Go ahead and do it. Anybody that can do anything to help people, I will help. All I just have to do is to mention the word. There are people here that have said they want to teach people how to do agriculture. Because the first way to be able to fight poverty is skill. Then the second way to be able to fight poverty is provision of opportunity. After we give skills. And that's why I'm doing this graduate course in partnership with Genza. The curriculum we developed is developed by an expert partner or an expert member of staff of a top consulting firm, Ernst & Young, out of Canada. She's the one that is working with my friend Sheyi Yerokun of Genza to develop this workplace graduate development training. Once we are ready, we'll release it to the public. Once you and you go and read it. If I'm to pay Ernst and Young, or if I'm to make you pay Ernst and Young to develop a training for you, you know it's going to be hundreds, a lot, thousands in whatever currency. But it is Ernst and Young quality personnel that will develop this. So you can see how I got on my way. Just like in the AI training, Dr. Mary that will be teaching you AI, and please, if you have not registered, go and register. We have over 1,000 people have registered. This training will start in September. We want to get more people to register. Dr. Mary that will be training you for the AI is one of the best AI experts, AI talents in the whole of the world. In fact, she has special talent visa for Australia, for UK, and some other parts of the world. She's been recognized as a special talent. So those are the kind of high resource individuals that I have put forward to give you the skills. If you are to pay for them, you will pay a lot. Companies pay these people a lot. But I get them for you because of the capacity and all of that. Please, you can go and you can just Google how much you would get an Ernst and Young EY personnel to be able to do consulting work for you. Go and Google how much it's going to cost you. But that's what we have used to curate a training for you. So once I get the registration link, I've put the publicity out yesterday across Twitter, Facebook. Once I get the registration link, I'll put it on social media. Please participate. It takes me a lot to bring most of these trainings to you. Most of them, I do a lot on the back scene to bring these trainings to you. These are the trainings that if I wanted to make money, if I wanted to make a lot of money, I would take them to companies and make money. I know I'm not saying Esther Young, Ernst and Young, Ernst and Young, EY, ERNST and Young. It's one of the big consultancy firms in the world. So I'm getting some of their top talent to help me develop this graduate workplace training. It's not Esther Young, Ernst and Young. So if I had the mindset of money alone, if I package this and sell this idea to companies, I'll make millions of dollars. If I had mindsets, I can package these ideas and go and sell it to a state government. They will put line item budgets, trading over 200-300 million, over $1 billion. The things they package as billions worth in trainings, that's what I come here to give to you for free. If I package this same training, see, Genza that works with me has packaged trainings for UNDP. Genza, Shane Yeroko that works with me on this graduate development I'm giving to you for free, has packaged trainings for UNDP. So they are not small people. If I package this training and go, if I had the mindset of money alone, I don't care about people, which I can do, but for me, what is most important in life is giving back. And that's why all my life is giving back. I'm not rich today is because I give back. If I wanted to make money and I package a training like this to state government, I will not get any less than the billions. But these are the things I am giving you, all the people watching me today, for free. Okay. Yes. So these are the things giving you for free. Oh, somebody is saying here that I think they want to check it between 1,500 to 2,000. I think it's even more than that. I think it's even more than that. For graduate development works-based, curriculum-based training, so if I package, it's going to be worth billions. It's going to be worth billions. But I'm not about the money because my goal in life is to make as many people empowered from listening to my program. You cannot listen to my program and your life will not be transformed. That's why I don't put any monetary value to all the things Oseni Center, my foundation, does. And I aggregate it and I partner with a lot of other people. And I go at the back and I seal this deal. And anytime I seal this deal, people ask me, Rufai, what is in it for you? I say I don't care about what is in it for me. I say I care about what is in it for the people that are suffering. And that's how to lift people out of poverty skills. Because if people knew better, they'll do better. Education, health. I was reading about Algeria. I'm not saying everything is perfect in Algeria. They have their own problems. Education, free. In fact, they even pay you to go to school. Health, catered to by the government. The same oil they have, we also have the same oil. Yes, you can argue they have a smaller population, about 40-something million, you know. But even if you had a smaller population, can people truly say that they are enjoying the good of the land with the kind of corrupt leadership we have? What's the quality? Because corruption takes everything away. And corruption has a link with poverty. There's no country where you see a lot of corruption and you don't also see a link to poverty. And that's why I'm bringing all of this training. The best I can do is to put you on a pedestal, give you an opportunity. In terms of opportunities, I will try to close the gap, not make you feel, oh, because I couldn't school abroad, oh, because I couldn't get this on, because I went to this, I went to federal. No. I will look for the world best and give to you. Even me that I'm talking, I hold my own in the world. So you hearing me alone is world best. I've spoken in Cambridge University several times, spoken at the biggest platform. So I'm bringing that kind of experience to you. But I'm not doing it alone. So I'm bringing associates, Ernst and Young, people that work for UNDP, Genza. Sheyi that partners with me. Sheyi used to be a top, a top manager at PwC. Then she ran Visa. Now Sheyi is doing that thing with Genza. So just look at the people that are putting this training together. She used to be a top person in Visa, top person in PwC. So these are the opportunities I'm doing. And you know why? Because I want to break the cycle of poverty in this country. Because see, if we break the cycle of poverty, you will have less jobless people that they can rent for political rallies in this country. The largest form of dehumanization is because of joblessness. You give average Nigerian 1,000 or 2,000 naira, you rent them for political rallies or protests. When I see those people come out, I'm sad for my country because of the dehumanization. Even if it's an hourly job, you should be going there. Because our people that are going to slave abroad, it's not that they love it so much. It's because there are opportunities for jobs. It's not that everybody that is abroad is excessively rich. There are opportunities for job, and they manage their system in such a way that there's a welfare system that holds you when you don't have a job, that helps you get back into a job, and that keeps you on that job. So, but that's what I'm trying to give you today. That opportunity, that foot in the door. We'll take calls 0907 651 1008. I don't know, I'm having challenges with the other line. 090, we've not just had networking days. 0907 651 1008. Today, the second message I'm going to play It's a lecture series on taxation. So for businesses, it's a 2-3 hour part lectures. That's why I say, see, I will so load you that if you do not succeed, it will be largely something you can introspect on. I don't say it's going to be your fault because anything can happen. But I will so load you with the prerequisite to succeed because that's the essence of life. And that's the only thing I can give you. I want to be part of your success story. I can't wait for you to succeed. So after this, I play a quick interview I had with a woman that needs help. She was a government official. She worked in the state house. Her pension wouldn't take her anywhere. And she needs help. I played that interview first, I think, and afterwards, I played this powerful series. It was put together by my friend's law firm, a couple of speeches and talks about new tax laws and things like that. You know, some of my friends are there, partners at KPMG on taxation. Great guy that we play tennis together. So what I do with media is to transform lives. It's just one portion. See, the phone lines to call. I've called the phone lines out. 0907 651 1008. All right. Those are the phone lines to call us up on. And we'll take it up from there. Hello, how are you? Morning.
Hello, sir.
God bless you. What's your name?
Oh, I'm Victor.
Victor, great to have you.
I'm interested in the AI training. Not you, my son. How do I get to
Just go to my page. Tell your son to go and check my page. Rufai the Fire on Twitter. Rufai Oseni on Facebook. You will see it there. It's there. It's on my page.
I can't see any link now.
No, just go there. You have not looked enough. There's my popular page on Facebook that has 417,000 followers. You will see it there. It's there. You scroll through. You scroll down. Let your son do it. Your son should go and look for the information himself. Don't let him bother you that day. You're not the one that should be looking for information for him. Let him go and look for it himself.
I want him to also
Tell him to go and look for it himself. The information is there. Just tell him to go and look for it himself. Daddy, don't bother yourself. Huh?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Stop drinking Panadol for his headache. You have lived your life. You have put him on a path. He has to live his own life. The information is there. I've posted it many times. I've still repeated it again. Information is there. Since I've posted it, it's like over 1,000 people have registered. So I can't force a horse to the stream. You can't force it to drink. Information is there. People that need it will get it. 0907 651 1008. 0907 651 1008. Those are the phone lines to call us up on this morning. Let's get it on the road. Let's get these conversations on. Hello, how are you?
Morning.
Morning. Bless you. What's your name?
My name is Ikechu, calling from Ajo.
Go ahead, my brother.
So far, you are spoken well. You know that. I don't know how we explain.
If you could turn off the volume of the radio set, just turn it off, please.
Okay, sir. Okay. Are you hearing me now?
Yeah.
You know that my what I intend to do in life is to be a good artist. A good artist. But when I was small, I know the way I do without this is my talent way in ball. Did you know that at the time, because of the things going on in the society, and You can't rely, if you're born in a family where you can't, depend on them muchly, you understand, on the finance to take you far. You understand? But I realize that if yet you passionately, follow it up, you will succeed. What you are saying now is you are just saying everything concerning. In fact, Almighty God will bless you. In fact, what we just said, I will, begin now. In fact, government need to, you talk about government, government need to help individuals. Because many individuals talents are, wasting. They are wasting, because I know my brother who is supposed to be an engineer in computer science, but because of there is no person to forward him. And I know my brother who is supposed to be an author next. You understand? But there's no person to forward him. If we do this one, you understand, we say, but you focus on another other thing. But me who is supposed to be at the great artist, I know I do drawing, do many things, which cancer, just this is what I inherit. It just keep God with me, giving me that I grow up. But I didn't follow it because nobody to push me up to the level I'm supposed to do. Then I channel it to another thing. Understand? But I'm just praying for the government to help individuals who have a talent to make this country move forward. I pray that God will help us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And you see, the essence of life is creating opportunities. In 2015, about 10 years ago, I had two events, one in Lagos, one in London. Events I called the Empowerment Series, where we had over 400 people or 500 people thereabout. And we opened the door for empowerment in bread making and so many things. Now, then you didn't have a lot of online, but now I reach a lot of people, through online. And this is sort of like the empowerment series that we continued. So it's been a long while. In London too, we had the same. Because on this show, online alone, sometimes I get up to over 5,000 people on TikTok. I get up to about a couple of thousands here and there on Instagram. I mean, sometimes on a good Sunday, we get over 10,000 people joining up across platforms. Then minus the hundreds of thousands also that join us on the terrestrial radio platform. So we get a lot of people that are joining us, reaching out on Facebook and the likes and all of that. So it's just impactful. Hello, how are you?
Good morning, Rufai.
Morning, great to have you. Longest time.
Yes, sir. Rufai, honestly.
These are people that have been listening to me on radio for over 15 years in Lagos. 10 to 15 years in Lagos.
Yes, honestly.
My sister.
Good to hear you speak to me again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm watching you live on the Facebook now.
Thank you. Thank you. And we are still in the business of impact since that 15 years ago.
Yes, sir.
Yes, because this is my father's business. This is my father in heaven's business.
Yes, sir.
This is the essence.
Continue to strengthen you in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen. Bless you.
Rufai, I need your support. I'm doing business and I need to revamp it seriously.
What business are you doing? Let's showcase your
I'm
business.
into catering, small chops, snacks, and some other business. I
What?
really need to revamp.
Okay, give us your announce your number on air. You never know who might be listening.
Okay, my number is 270
Yeah.
88
Yeah.
796
Yeah.
707.
Yes. Announce it again.
070
Yes.
88
Yeah.
796
Yeah.
707.
Very well.
Honestly, if I can get help, I'll be very happy because the thing has really depressed me a lot.
It is well.
I'm a very hardworking lady and I need to revamp my business.
Don't be depressed. Keep fighting. Life is worth the fight. Yeah. It is well.
Thank you so much, Rufai. Honestly, I appreciate you.
Bless you. Bless you so
God
much.
bless you. Thank you so much.
Bless you so much. So we need to keep pushing, keep holding on. So I bring this empowerment because it's cheaper. Because if I say I want to have a physical event, but I don't know. I mean, if I keep saying if people plan it, I'll show up. I'll make everything possible. I'll give the opportunities. But I mean, it's the way of the times. You have online. You can, use online, reach across the people, give them the opportunity via my pages, and that's what we've been doing. A couple of years ago, I think about 2, 3, 4 years ago, we also did the same, where we had an event, technology training, and giving people opportunities. In fact, we had that at the E Zone. Over 6,000 people registered. We gave people opportunity. People's lives got transformed. So from time to time, we keep giving them. The best I can do for you is opportunity. I don't have money, and even if I have money, I won't give you. I'd rather invest in skills and look for partners that can invest in your business. Because if I give you money, you will finish it. But if I teach you how to make money with skills, you too will be somebody that can lift other people. And please, I would like to beg you, for any time you get lifted on this show, a lot of people have gotten lifted. I don't want anything from you. All I want is lift somebody else. That's just all I want. Hello, how are you?
Hello?
Hello, how are you?
Morning.
Morning, what's your name? I can't hear you properly. Just turn off the radio set or something.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, speak up, please.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, morning.
My name is Ifoma from Anambra State. I'm calling from Anambra State.
Okay, former.
Yeah, I work with active citizens.
Active what?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you work as what?
I work with active citizens. It's a media firm
Okay.
here in Anambra State.
Okay.
And it's actually geared towards 2027 election. The intention is actually to make the youth come out and mass to vote for.
Yeah, register, yeah. It starts next week, right? It starts next week.
Yeah?
Registration starts in full swing on the 18th, right?
Yes, exactly.
Go ahead.
And then again, I'm an entrepreneur. I sell hair, but I'm having a lot of challenges with getting customers because I'm equally trying to, put up an outfit, like more like a shop, get a shop, but it's been a struggle because I don't have much customers. I wish I could actually get much customers. That's why.
Okay. Okay, let us have your number to the world, But in getting customers, you also know that you need to add something to your business that makes it unique. That I will not think for you. You'll be the one to think for yourself. But call out your number. I can give you this opportunity.
Okay, 090.
Yeah.
65.
Yeah.
95.
Yeah.
06.
Yep.
83.
Okay.
090.
Yeah.
65. 95. 06. 83.
Okay. Bless you so much. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you. Really appreciate you. So, like I've said today, go out, check the link. The AI training is there. Don't get misinformed. Somebody said I didn't see the link you mentioned, Esther Young. No. The AI training is on my page. Esther Young is a consulting company where some of the people that are going to put together the graduate development training work. They're Ernst & Young certified people because they work there. So also get information right. I also see in our society a lot of people do not get information properly. The AI training is on my page. You will see it there. It's there. You will see the link to register for AI training. Scroll through my Facebook page. You will see it. Scroll through my Twitter page. You will see it. Everything is there. I'll take this last call and I will say the benedictions and the blessings I will leave. Hello, how are you? Yes, sir. Yes.
How are you? Good morning.
Morning, Ambassador Musbao.
Yeah. I just pray to God to enrich you with knowledge and wisdom.
Amen. Ambassador Musba, you are a great man. Are you feeling better now? You said I should not say it, what happened to you, but I hope you are feeling better.
I've just tried to feel better. So I don't allow this to weigh me down.
Okay.
So I'm not pain. Even the pain is there, but at least I'm moving.
We care so much about you.
Yeah, but I want to commend you for the good job. Because, empowerment is good. We are not talking about the political empowerment and those who are doing. But take people up to support. For people to grab this opportunity is my concern. These are great opportunities. I think I'm appealing to everybody to just get into this. Instead of just go for just cheaper Yahoo or whatever money making something. This don't go far. This is what you can have, and for the rest of your life you'll be enjoying it. Nobody can take this away from you. You have got this knowledge. So I want to commend you, and I'm still telling you, I cannot stop doing what I know how to do. Like I told you, if what anybody who wants to give physical training to people, genuinely, I told you, I also can offer you a hall that has at least 35, 40 people at a time. And nobody comes. Okay, this is an opportunity. If you can just give training to people that, you have a skill that I can give to people who are no more than 35, 40. Call me. I'll get a place that will do comfortable to training.
Ambassador Musbao, leave them like they call, they don't call. The best we can do is to offer the opportunity. In the end, we will all see the result of what we do. Life is like AI. It's the information you load on the AI tool it's the information you load on the large language model that you will get in the end when you search for inquiry through AI. So the best I can do is to give opportunities. There's a Yoruba saying that says, and I quote, "Ba gunyo sinu ewe, ba sobe si epo epa, eni ayu." What it means is, like we make pounded yam in the leaf and we put the soup in the shell of a granite. The amount that will be filled. Like, see, all these opportunities are given. Like, you take it, you don't take it, it's your problem. There will be people, hang on a minute. Yeah, there will be people that will, yes. So there are people that will be here that they will take it. See, from my shows, there are people that have become multimillionaires, that have been settled for life, and there are people that are coming to complain on this my show that they all see. So it's your mindset that is the matter. All I can do is to give you the teaching on your mindsets. All I can do is to expose you to opportunities. All I can do is to expose you to networks. That's just it. Okay, let me expose. As a teacher, there's another network I want you to join that we co-created. It's one of the biggest teacher network in the world. It's called 1 Million Teachers, set up by my friend Hakim Subab. I've talked about it. I know teachers that have researched 1 million teachers and their lives have become better. I have been mentioning 1 million teachers here. In fact, I've even played one of the sermons where I went to speak somewhere when I spoke about 1 million teachers. A lot of people have heard it, they will pass it. A lot of people have seen, they will pass it. See, it's for us to give you the opportunity. Like you take it. Your life is in your hands. But you see, in life, we are all product of time. 20, 30, 40 years after, time will ask us questions. Like my very good friend and my former colleague, Charles Dallas, will say, if you don't know your age, they will get to a point your age will know you. So, for those that come on my page and deceive themselves and say all sorts and do all sorts and don't take a hold of opportunities when you have them, the joke is not on me. I have done the work God said I should do. I can't force you to take the opportunities. Opportunities are supposed to be worth millions. I have personally made it totally free for you. But I just pray you take it on time. I just pray the same opportunities that I'm giving you that is free today, You will not have to go and pay millions to get it. And you will not get the kind of quality we are giving today. That's why I say go to the page there. Since I started announcing this, over 1,000 people have registered. So if you register today, it's to see how you can put yourself in the line for these opportunities. Over 1,000 people have deemed it fit already to register for the AI training and to open their eyes to the prospect of development through AI. So please do something to your life. Hello.
Oh,
Final caller.
right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning, yeah.
I'm enjoying your program this morning. In fact, I'm so much enlightened. You see, because of lack of job opportunity in Nigeria, the politicians are taking due advantage on these hoodlums in the streets. During the time of politics, they use them as thugs. So, I love the job opportunity you are creating. This is Babo from Ocean. I
Thank you.
love your program every Sunday morning.
Thank you, sir.
I listen to your preaching. I listen to your advice. I listen to your talk. It gives us good morale to think of tomorrow and the next. And it gives us opportunity to know the kind of advice to give to our children. So I'm happy with you this morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you. So, the opportunities are there. Like, when I talk about morals, national development opportunity, like you turn it to a conversation on politics. The same politicians that, should be, if your eye is not clear, the same politicians that you are killing yourself over. Maybe you saw that when recently graduation season started abroad, they were all going for graduation for their children abroad. Almost all of them, irrespective of political leanings. They all had children in exotic universities. But you, that can hardly afford 3 square meals, and you are fighting over there, you are saying he's my tribesman. Keep fooling yourself. The joke is on you. The best thing I can do is to try to change the trajectory of poverty. Because if you don't change the trajectory of poverty, the trajectory of politics will not change. I'm thinking further. But if you think it's the small 1 naira politicking, maybe you are eyeing the fact that they will give you senior special assistant somewhere. Go and check the salary of a senior special assistant. You can't be a billionaire doing that job. Not everybody will be a billionaire anyway. The best you can do is have a couple of thousands for yourself. If you are very lucky, you build your 2 or 3 bedroom bungalow. But the funny thing is because you don't have a sustainable skill, then it's problematic. So 2-3 years after you leave that position, if you don't get anything doing, you go back to suffering. In this country, I have seen former governors that are so. I have seen former senators that was not the former senator that were saying he couldn't pay his hospital bills. So it's so easy to slip back into poverty, and because the country does not have welfare buffers. That's why your best bet is to have sustainable skill, and also you should plan for your financial future. Don't eat with your 10 fingers. Keep money aside. Even if people are dashing you money, if they dash you 10 naira or you see 5 naira from whatever venture you are doing, your business, at least keep 4 naira aside for a day or 3 naira for a day that you know that you will not have money again and to work again. My father will always say, Rufai, keep money for the rainy day. He said, what is the rainy day? Oh, God bless my father, engineer. When I asked him, I said, Daddy, what is the rainy day? He said, the day it rains, at least when it rains, you can't go out to work in the rain as a farmer. So you will stay indoors. So keep food aside for the day it will rain that you will not be able to go out to work. All of us, including me that I'm talking, we all have a rainy day. It's how we appropriate ourselves that matter. So if I'm giving you skills today to hedge your future for a raining day, it behoves on you to take it. The best I can do is to do this for you. I can't love you more than you love yourself. That's just it. I pray as you go this week, God bless you. He will lift you. He will bring peace and joy to your life. In Jesus' name, amen. Bless you guys so much. God will elevate all of you.
about the leg.
Okay, yes. So please tell me about your plight from the time you even left government work and how much you are getting in pension as a level 14 retired officer, ma.
I left 2018 precisely. Years of service, not years of age. And I was paid 5 point something million. So they retain about 3 million plus and give me 2 million plus.
Why did they retain 3 million?
And for the monthly pension, you know, saying that we contribute.
Okay, contribute.
It's a contributing night. We call this EPS.
Okay.
So it's me. So I have no option than to take it like that. So that will now move me to annuity. Because annuity can add small money. We can make a better small. All of us will go annuity now because we say we want like 4,000, 7,000 just to join the one we program withdrawal. Will they give us? Because program withdrawal, we believe that what they are doing to us, because we said actually we are no longer in the government, so let them just give us our money and know what to do with it. But they refuse. So we have no option than to, we opt out from, from program withdrawal to annuity. That is for insurance. Because they told us everything is the same. So whatever they are doing to program withdrawal, they extend it to annuity. So now so we did.
Okay, so now you earn just like 3,000 every month. And what you also say you have 2 kids that you saw through school and they don't have a job now and things are very tough for you. Also tell me about your knee. And
yes, so they don't have job. They don't have job. They don't have job. So they look to say I get job. One, I for not the squat. Because I call this one squatting. 2, I for don't do my knee replacement surgery. That is the most important thing for me. So that I can go out and do 1 or 2 things. If I'm fine, if I'm not using walking stick, things will not be like this for me, my dear brother. I have to be open to you. But because of the knee problem that I cannot move, even people will see me like somebody who is like all this physically challenged people that cannot do anything, because nobody will employ somebody that is using walking stick to work. So that is my plight. So in fact, I have to start looking for. I'm living mostly in people's, mercy of people.
And so your kids that finished from University of Abuja have not gotten work till date.
Hello?
I say your children that finished from Uni Abuja have not gotten work till date.
You said?
I say your children that finished from University of Abuja have not gotten work.
Yes, since 2017, 2018.
Okay, what did they study?
2 of the girls study microbiology.
Okay.
And the other boy studied biological sciences.
Okay.
And my last baby now is trying to round up in Unilab.
Okay.
That one is doing English.
Okay.
So that is just the thing.
So you have been catering to them with all this. You have been catering to them with this 33,000 where you say they collect every month as pension.
Now they use and the children self, now these children now they struggle on their own. They go do one man business, they will go work for school, they will go work for this. Though they read sciences, but now they don't work for all this finance company, sales, all this company that we just put them there. Not be say that they work out, them they stay for office. They will receive phone call for sales. So it's like they now have experience of accounting and marketing. So
okay. If people want to reach out to you, do you have an account number you can call now? If people want to reach out to you, do you have an account number you can call?
If you want to reach out to me,
if there's an account number you can call, if people want to put money there for you, can you just call it for us?
Okay, I have.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will send it to you.
Okay, you send it to me, but do you have a number people can call you on? Do you have a number people can call you on?
Network.
Do you have a number people can call you on? Phone number.
Hello, you said?
Do you have a phone number people can call you on? People can call you on.
Hello.
Do you have a phone number people can call you on?
This number you used to call me now.
Okay, so 0803-690-0051. Okay.
Yes.
0803-690-0051. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, no wahala. I will send you my own small thing now.
Okay,
but we'll also amplify your plights, and let's pray that God could work as well.
Thank you, sir. God bless you.
No wahala.
Look, let Mama Lord. You will never fall down, Lord God Jesus.
Amen.
Thank you, my dear, because you are a very straightforward person, a very truthful person. Even the whole world is saying it, not even me alone.
Amen.
Thank you. I'm going to continue to elevate you.
No wahala. So please, just send me a text to this number, your account number. I'll take it up from there.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
You send me a text then with your account number.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, bless you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
May God. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you can please all sit down. Thank you. So help me God. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you can please all sit down. Thank you. Our host, Mr. A.J. Owonikoko, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. And our speakers, Mr. Ajibola Olu, Mr. Saliu Gbadebo, and Professor Abiola Sani, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. To our learned silks here present, I see Mr. Victor Okpara, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, and Mr. Onjoku, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Learned colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. If you can look to the person next to you and just say good morning and welcome. Fantastic. It gives me great pleasure to welcome everyone to this very, very important conversation that has been themed navigating the tax shifts, opportunities, and risks. On the 22nd of June 2025, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu, signed into law 4 important tax bills that will no doubt shape how business is done and individuals begin to think about the next steps. The Juweta Law Resources Center and Synergy attorneys have found it very important to bring key important stakeholders to have this very, very important conversation. I can assure you that they have spared no expense in curating seasoned individuals that will discuss with us today on very pertinent issues. I join all of us here to participate. This is not just a lecture, but a conversation. We're going to hear from experts today. We're going to be allowed to ask questions, allowed to interact, and we're going to have a case study at the end where both sides are able to converse on the issues that are burning the most. Now, without further ado, I would like us to set the tone properly, and I would like to introduce our host, who is a man whose reputation precedes him. He's a senior advocate of Nigeria and the principal at Synergy's Attorneys. He's well known to have done a lot of landmarks, a public commentator, and one who's very passionate about the law. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our host, Mr. A.J. Owonikoko, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Yes, sir, for your opening remarks. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I start by recognizing the special guest of honor, the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Prince Dr. Lateef O. Fagbemi SAN, FCI UK, ably represented virtually by his SA Public Sector, Mr. Fernandez Marcos. I welcome our distinguished resource persons, the chairman and members of Etiosa branch of the Nigerian Bar Association, as well as other branches of the esteemed Nigerian Bar present, learned colleagues of the inner and outer bar, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, participants both physical and virtual, ladies and gentlemen. It is with immense sense of humility and appreciation that I welcome you all to this hybrid workshop on the brand new 4 tax legislations signed into law by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in June 2025, namely the Nigeria Tax Act 2025, Joint Revenue Establishment Act 2025, Nigeria Revenue Establishment Act 2025, and Nigeria Tax Administration Act 2025. As an audacious, bold, and holistic set of legislations whose objective is to revamp, harmonize, and recalibrate the tax ecosystem in the entire Federation. Taxpayers, tax practitioners, regulators, and enforcement bodies, as well as the general public, have the common advantage that we are all starting the journey of implementing and complying with the new statutes at about the same time. The learning curve is therefore relatively flat at this time for most people, including my humble self. This workshop, as far as we can ascertain, is the first focused platform to interrogate the new tax statutes. By its theme, navigating the tax shift, opportunities and risks, it aims to equip participants with knowledge and tools necessary to navigate these changes effectively. Through expert-led discussions, case studies, and interactive sessions, attendees will explore the potential opportunities that arise from tax reforms as well as the risks that need to be managed. We have looked at 3-pronged benefits of attending this seminar. One is in-depth knowledge of the tax policy changes, which is to enable us gain insights into recent tax reforms and their potential impact on various sectors. Participants will learn how to interpret these changes and adapt their strategies accordingly. B, on the list of benefits, strategic planning for opportunities. Discover how to leverage tax shifts to your advantage. The advantage will highlight strategies for optimizing tax liabilities and identifying new business opportunities that may arise from the evolving tax landscape. And the third of the identified benefit, the risk associated with tax changes and learn effective risk management strategies. Attendees will be equipped with practical tools to mitigate potential downside and ensure compliance with new regulations. But as we all know, both sprints and marathon races have starting points. Yet a clear winner who breaks the tape first ultimately still emerges and goes home with the star trophy. We are hoping that all who made the effort to attend today's workshop will go home enriched and better prepared for the challenges ahead in tax matters. Thankfully, the NBA has approved a CPD credit point for all lawyers who attend and participate in the workshop. We thank the NBA president and Etiosa branch for their support in seeing to the approval of the workshop for credit point. Dedication. On the sideline of this workshop, You will find that we are also using the event to honor two departed personalities that the Jurorial Law Resource Center owe a debt of gratitude to. These are the late Honorable Justice Muhammad Lawal Uwais, CGN retired GCON, who passed on to be with his maker a few days shy of his 89th birthday. He declared this center open on 30th of January 2016. The second is our dear colleague and partner at Synergy Attorneys, under whose selfless and committed superintendence the Law Resource Center was inaugurated and managed until she departed our earthly domain on 2nd of September 2024 at the age of 42. That is our darling sister, late Oluwashola Adeola Keshiro Oluwashola. In her honor, a foundation was established known as Oluwashola Keshiro Foundation. The foundation is accessible. I provided the link. These two personalities shared some uncommon inspirational virtues worthy of emulation that must serve their memory: humility and all-round integrity. Coincidentally, they also shared 12th of June as their birthdays. We use this occasion to showcase their legacies. As I close this speech, may I respectfully request that we observe a minute silence in their honor. May we all be upstanding, please. May their souls rest in perfect peace. May their soul continue to rest in perfect peace, and may God grant them victory in heaven. Amen. Thank you all for granting me your audience, and have an exciting deliberation. You are welcome.
We can do better than that. A round of applause, please, for our host. Before we proceed, I think it's important to mention that this is a free event, and that shows you the value that our host places on knowledge and spreading the law. If you look at the benefits and you ask yourself, if you were to pay or engage any of our speakers, they'll be charging you in not just in millions, but probably in dollars. This is a hot topic, and thanks to our host, we have the very best in the room. A round of applause again for our host, for the Law Resource Center, and for Synergy Attorneys. Thank you so much, sir. Before we proceed into the meat of today, we'd also like to hear from our special guest, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Even though he had planned to be here today, unfortunately he can't make it. But however, we have his essay on public sector, who will share a few words with us. If we can just have the speech of Mr. Fernandez Marcos. A round of applause, please. I believe we're sorting out the technical issues, and very soon I believe that we'll hear a few words from the Attorney General of the Federation. But just to quickly begin to move things along, I'm sure we can play that subsequently, I would like to get into the meat of the reason why we're here. We have three fantastic and exciting speakers. I was privileged and fortunate to be in the same room with them. I say this with humility. It doesn't take a lot to make me feel like I don't know what I'm doing. But in that room, I think I had to keep quiet and listen to these gentlemen. They are knowledgeable, they are rich, and like I said, they don't come cheap. So I would like to start with our first speaker. He's the partner and head of technology media and telecommunications line of business at KPMG Nigeria. He's also the partner responsible for deal advisory, M&A, tax and regulatory services, and financial services. He's garnered 31 years of professional business advisory experience, delivering value to clients across various markets within Nigeria, Africa, and globally. He has advised several local and multinational institutions on various assignments pertaining to cross-border investment in and out of Nigeria, including structuring business entry, combinations, capitalization, acquisitions, and divestments from Nigeria. He's conducted compliance reviews, including regulatory health checks and audits, and assisted in formulating strategies for management and other leverage buyouts. He has provided inputs to several editions of the World Bank's Global Doing Business reports, and participated in several efforts in the reform of business environment in Nigeria. He's an associate of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, a fellow of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, and the Center for International Legal Studies, Austria. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Mr. Ajibola Olomola. He'll be speaking on the corporate scope of the new 2025 tax laws in Nigeria. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. And I understand we have a group online, so good morning to you if you're joining us online. It's a rare honor, and I feel very honored indeed to be here with you in the chambers of one of the most illustrious learned minds that we have in Nigeria today, in the person of High Chief Abiodun Owonikoko, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. As an interesting aside, Chief Owonikoko and I were classmates, and we both finished from Great Ife. And I can assure you that he's been great even when he was an undergraduate, one of the activist students that we had, using law, even back then, as an instrument for social justice. So it's no wonder that he has distinguished himself in the profession. I'm very humbled to be here, Biodun, and I congratulate you on building a very enviable law practice. Sometimes I wish I'd followed in your footsteps in the law, as opposed to diverting to financial services. So I've been asked to speak about a topical issue because the set of tax bills have only recently been signed into law by His Excellency, the President of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It marks a watershed in Nigeria's history as a country grappling with revenue challenges. We've all heard about how Nigeria's tax GDP ratio at less than 6% is one of the world's lowest. And the amount we collect as tax in every year, and what we even spend in our budget in every year, is less than what a municipality in the US, for example, if you take the US state, for example, it's less than what the US state spends on its fire brigade. Not on the state, on its fire brigade. That tells you how far behind we are. And so, on becoming president, President Tinubu commissioned, I think it's one of the first things he did, Mr. Salahu, right? I think it's one of the first things the president did, was to commission the tax work stream. And say, and he'd done it in Lagos when he was governor in Lagos. He'd used tax as an instrument. And you can expect that this is someone who is a chartered accountant, someone who has worked in the big four accounting firms globally. So you can imagine that he understands what tax can do as an instrument of fiscal policy. And that committee that is set up under the leadership of Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, and later on we'll be hearing from Mr. Biola Sani, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Dean of the Faculty of Law, UNILAG, who is also a leading member. I think he was vice chair of the committee, actually, that did the fiscal reform work. These laws were signed into effect last month, sorry, apologies. And when Donald Trump talks about the big, beautiful tax bill, you get a sense of how important this subject is to economies around the world. What we have in Nigeria can truly be called a big, beautiful tax bill. So big that it had to be iterated in 4 distinct legislation, as we will be informed of later on. So it changes everything. If you think you previously knew tax, you have to go back to school. In the ante room, before we came in here, the other participants and I were discussing, and one of the comments he made is that every single section in each of those bills requires study. Now, obviously, I'm not going to do that in 40 minutes or 1 hour. I can't even do that in 1 day. So I'm just going to give you, if you like, an overview, a synopsis of what I think would be important enough to you to communicate a sense of direction of where we have gone. I quoted a Bible scripture to my other participants earlier on. I said to him, I won't say it in Latin because I know there are people here who are not lawyers, but you know, they say in the abundance of words, error is not lacking. So you will understandably expect that in a production this large, there will also be areas of oversight, areas of error, whether intended or unintended. I will try to highlight some of them as potentially a road that can be traveled as we anticipate the coming into force of this legislation. The legislation are billed to come into force on the 1st of January 2026. So it gives us 6 months to get ready. So hopefully some of my comments can be taken on board by the FRS, ably represented here by Mr. Gbadebo, and they can then see what can be done about taking us towards Uhuru. If I quote that book that we all read in our high school, you know, not yet to Uhuru. For Nigeria, this might be the road to Uhuru. So if I go to my slide, in terms of the content, I can just give you an idea of what my content will be. So I've already gone through the introduction now. Then I'll talk about key provisions in the legislation, the path forward. There was a case study. Next slide, please. I'm on the contents page. Yes, thank you. There was a case study that was shared with me to try to make this practical for the audience. I will go through that case study, and then we can take questions and answers. Next slide, please. So what this legislation has done, the NTA itself, the Nigeria Tax Act itself, combines 9 previous tax legislation into one. So where hitherto you would have the Companies Income Tax Act, you'd have to look at the Capital Gains Tax Act, the Personal Income Tax Act, and so on and so forth, and you have to consult different legislation, and sometimes even wonder about, okay, what takes priority? So, you know, accountants will tell you that the distinction between capital and income is very difficult to draw. Now, the tax rate on capital gains is 10% in Nigeria. For income tax, it's 30%. Most countries of the world, realizing that if you're a very smart accountant, you can actually motivate between the two, close that gap by simply increasing the CGT rate to 30%. In the UK, for example, you pay the CGT at your marginal rate. Whatever your tax rate is, apply the same to CGT. But in Nigeria, we maintained that bifurcation. What that means is that, I'll give an illustration. Land. We all know that land is a capital item, right? I mean, all lawyers know that because of property law that we were all taught. So if you were to sell land, you will say, oh, it's a capital item. Any gains on my disposal of land, I pay CGT on it. And you take it as a motherhood statement. I should pay CGT on my land. You pay 10% and you walk away with the difference. What if you were a property company and the only thing you did for a living was buying and selling property? Would your gain still be CGT? That's when the argument begins to break down. What if you're dealing in shares? If I dispose of my shares on the stock exchange, I should pay CGT, right? But what if I was a company that actually is a stock? I mean, my business, my day-to-day business is buying, holding, and selling stock and making a margin on the disposal values. Should that also be CGT or income tax? And we couldn't answer that question. Simple as it might seem, there are many cases that have been decided on that question, whether the tax applicable to such a taxpayer should be income tax or CGT. From the perspective of the taxpayer, the lower tax is what he wants to pay and walk away. So you had very large organizations in Nigeria that when they suffer a capital loss, previously you couldn't recover your capital losses. That's changed now, but previously you couldn't. So when you suffer a capital loss, they will tell you, oh, actually, it's not capital, it's trading income. So I can take my trading loss against my taxable profits of that year. But the year they make a taxable gain, they will tell you that on those same transactions, oh, it's actually capital gains. So I don't have to pay income tax, I'll pay the lower tax rate. And there was no order to it. But now, the NTA has combined both CGT, CIT, all of it. So the priority is clear. And how you should treat it is also clear. I hope it's clear. If you still think it's unclear, consult your, well, should I say consult your lawyer or consult your tax consultant? Maybe this is one area where we compete with the lawyers, right? So I will say consult your tax advisors, since I'm playing for that field. And if your tax consultants need help, if the matter has to go to court, consult your lawyers. So the tax laws have now been harmonized. And I can move to the next slide, please. So in terms of thematic areas, I tried to identify a few themes. So I've been involved in tax reform work since 2004 in Nigeria. And so I've seen various efforts towards this reform activity. And they're always built around what I call thematic areas. There are key factors that operate on the minds of the tax maker, of the lawmaker. And for this year's effort, from the speeches given by the fiscal committee, we were able to tease out three key areas that were of concern to the lawmaker. The first one was to increase domestic revenue mobilization. Like I said, our tax to GDP ratio at 6% is just nothing to write home about. Even a country like Ghana next to us is going on nearly 20%. I think it's about 22%. England is about 30%. Most of Europe is about 30%. The US is about 30%. Some countries are higher. So you can imagine Nigeria generating tax at 6% of GDP. Let me just illustrate what that means. So at our rebased GDP values, let's take our rebased value just for argument's purposes. I think it should be closer to 500, but somehow or not, it's not. It's currently about 320 trillion. So we take 320 trillion, now you take 6% of that. It gives you an idea of what's available to finance the economy. Another quick illustration is that the FRS announced last week, I think it was last week, that they announced that they had been able to collect about 14 trillion naira between January of 2025 and today. We have never had it so good. I mean, I remember in 2015, the total collection for the year was 1.7 trillion naira. And we're clapping the FRS on the back. Oh, well done, guys, you've done so well. 1.7 trillion naira, go figure. And today, we're on 14 trillion. That tells you how much work the FRS has done in upgrading their game, improving their systems, the changes made to the law. But what if I told you that even at that 14 trillion, motivated to the end of the year, which they won't, hopefully they will do double. I don't think they will do double, but hopefully they will do double. And take that as a percentage of GDP. We're still below 10% at 14 trillion. Imagine if Nigeria was generating 25% of GDP as tax revenue. Imagine how much money will be available to the federal government, to the other governments of Nigeria, state and local governments, to finance government expenditure. I think most of Nigeria's problems will be resolved if we're able to, even if we didn't grow our economy, and we should grow our economy. We should invest in productive areas that would expand this economy exponentially. But even if we didn't do that, if we were able to harness the potential of what we have in hand and close tax gaps, we would do much better. So increasing domestic revenue mobilization was the first objective that we were able to tease out. The second one was to simplify and harmonize the tax system. And the third one was to modernize tax administration. As you can imagine, I'm not just reading out what's in the slides. The slides we will always have. I'm giving you a bit more flavor on what I have written out here. So let's now go into an overview of the four legislation. The first one is the Nigeria Tax Act. And what this act does, like I said, is harmonize and modernize Nigeria's tax systems, trying to align it with global standards. The Nigeria Tax Administrative Act, in this one, it's a huge, huge game changer. And many people don't realize that. A lot of people focus on just the Nigeria Tax Act. But the question is, how do you actually gather that tax? What instruments, what efficiency are you going to bring to bear in getting this revenue together? And what the NTAA does is to provide a basis for administration across all tiers of government. And it also empowers the JTB in a manner that we had not seen before. Previously, the JTB only really had jurisdiction on personal income tax matters. In practice, they did more than that. But if you look strictly at the law, they could only have an opinion on PITA matters. But today, they've been expanded much beyond that to play a critical role in tax administration. Then we had the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Act, just like the FRS Establishment Act, and also makes clear, which is why they had to change the name from Federal Revenue Service, Federal Inland Revenue Service, to Nigeria Revenue Service, to highlight the focus, the shift in focus. Because FRS is no longer concerned only with federation taxes. They are now concerned with the totality. Let me give a little anecdote to illustrate how powerful this can be. Imagine if you wanted to chase for tax evasion a money bag in an unknown state. I will not give the name of a state in Nigeria for obvious reasons. Let's just say state A. And this guy is the political godfather to the governor of that state. To what extent do you think that the state tax authority can chase that guy for collection of taxes? If the appointing authority to the state chairman of Revenue Service is calling the guy and saying, what's going on here? Why are you going after my godfather? Back down. That's the end of that matter. So if you go around the states of Nigeria and take a view of their tax collection statistics, you'll be painfully disappointed. Many of them make very little effort in the area of tax administration. And you have people going into the Senate, they need a tax clearance certificate, they just go and get one printed. But now, I remember in the days of Ifweko, when she was chairman of FRS, and there was talk about some senators that had not paid the right tax to their appropriate states. FRS was hamstrung, they couldn't do anything, because FRS had no jurisdiction. Today, under the tax legislation, FRS has power. They have power to intervene. Working with the state authorities, of course, in a coordinated manner, but they now have a lot more power, a lot more influence. And you'll find that in the provisions that have been enshrined into the law. I encourage all of us to find time to read it. And like I said, the Joint Revenue Service Board, Joint Revenue Board Establishment Act is the fourth one that then gives a lot more enhanced power to the Joint Tax Board, to the previous Joint Tax Board. What I would then do over the next few slides is to take elements of the legislation, highlight what I consider to be the positive sides of some of the legislation, and with all due respect, of course, to my brother, Mr. Gbadebo, right? Please forgive me. I will also highlight a few risk areas which I would like you to consider and take back to FRS, areas where I think some improvement, some unintended consequences may follow, and some improvement might be required. Starting with the positives. One of the positives we saw in the NTA is the increased threshold for small companies with turnover of 50 million or less. exempting them from corporation tax. I remember when the Finance Act first introduced this exemption at 25 million, many people were up in arms. 25 million, no, it's so much. I mean, it don't dent a hole. But from what we've seen, it hasn't dented a hole. It has actually allowed FRS. You know, how many people here know the Pareto principle? 80-20 principle. 80% of your revenue is going to come, statistically speaking, from 20% of your clients. But most of us are going to spend about the same time on every client, which means that there's redundancy. You are spending time on 80% of your clients that are never going to contribute enough to your revenue to get you there. And the trick in management consulting is to get an organization to focus on the 20%. The 20% that's going to give you 80% of your revenue. That's where you want to invest. And that's what the FRS has been able to do since 2019 when this law was passed. And they are now so enthused about the idea that they now say, you know what, 25 is not good enough, let's make it 50. I think it doesn't go far enough, actually. It should be 100. Simple reason. 70% of employment in Nigeria is generated by small, medium-scale enterprises, what they will call in America mom and pop shops. The Smithson survey suggests that. That means that if you want to move, you remember General Buhari, President Buhari's theme, that I'm going to move 1 million people, 10 million people away from unemployment into employment. If you're going to do that, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that by empowering the Dangotes of this world, and they should be empowered, by the way. But if you want to do that, you got to focus on your small and medium-scale enterprises. Think of law firms. Law firms would employ at least one junior, right? No matter how small the law firm is, you will have at least one junior. So create an environment where lawyers can employ 2, 3, and then all of a sudden that law firm has doubled in size, right? But it won't happen if the proprietor of the law firm is not seeing the revenue streams that allows him to afford that employee, right? And so giving you a tax exemption is essentially government putting money back in your pocket. In some countries, what they will do is collect that tax from you, and then at some point in the year, issue a check to you. So in the US, you will hear that the revenue service is sending checks to taxpayers. So they first collected the tax from you, they then review your tax status, then they mail you a check. In Nigeria, we don't mail checks. So we're saying, you know what, don't even send it to us at all. Just hold on to your money. But then, government is not Father Christmas. Why are we asking you to hold on to your money? It's not so they can have a party. It's not so that you can go and build a house or marry another wife. What we actually want you to do is to put that money that you should have paid to FRS, put it back in your business so that you can grow. And when I come to it, sir, I like the fact that you are echoing my words. That's my feedback on the pioneer status thing as well. I think we missed an opportunity. The idea is not to exempt people from tax so that they can now start paying huge dividends to themselves and have a party. No! Let's make this thing smart. If I give you pioneer status and I avoid collecting tax from you, I want you to come and show me, government, how you have invested that money back into your own business. It's your business, not mine, right? If your business is profitable, you're the ones that don't take the money, not government. Government should get to a point where we're saying, for every tax forbearance that we give you, you come back to us, government, whether you go to FRS, go to, what's the agency that does, NIPC, whichever one you go to, go and sit down with them, show them how you have reinvested that money back into your business. And if you cannot show it, then the tax that was forgone should be paid. Why should you have a holiday? The man next door doesn't have a holiday and is paying his tax. If I give you a holiday, show me how you have grown. In the hope that in 5 years' time, if you keep reinvesting that money, because it's 30% of your profits, right? If you keep reinvesting 30% of your profits into your business, what do you think will happen in 5 years' time? That business would have doubled, tripled, what do you know? Imagine a Dangote, $20 billion. $20 billion worth of investment. Imagine putting a framework in place where that business becomes $40 billion in 5 years. Nigeria can go into a partnership with businesses like Dangote that will result in a transformation of the Nigerian economy. Just leveraging tax policy. Our tax policy should be to encourage companies like that to double Because guess what? The people working in that industry he's not employing his wife and children. No. He needs at least 10,000 people to run that refinery. If you double the size of that refinery, then he needs what? Maybe at least more, 20,000. Imagine the multiplier effect on the economy. For every billion that you add, the multiplier is almost, if you model it economically, for every 1 naira, you can model up to 10. Let me tell you how. You have new employees that didn't exist before, right? Assume that they are adults, they will have wife. Most people in Nigeria have 3 to 4 children, right? So for every job you create, there are 6 dependencies. The dependencies would include people who need to live somewhere, right? So all of a sudden they are paying rent. All of a sudden their children are going to school, they need schools. The schools will need teachers. Then another ecosystem to educate them. Ecosystem for hospital, ecosystem for supermarket, ecosystem for recreation, cinema, ecosystem for, you can imagine. You can just model. You see, when we build models, economic models, of the multiplier effect of an investment, it goes beyond the company itself. You then look at all the others. So the question for Nigeria must be, how can I get more people like Dangote to create billion-dollar worth investments in all the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria? Imagine if we had 20 billion worth of investment in the south-south, in the southeast, in the north-central. Would people be running to Lagos at the rate at which they are now? They will stay in the zones and develop there will be employment opportunities everywhere. Imagine if we had that in every single zone and we're all connected by rail. Imagine, look, I can't grow the size of Lagos. Lagos is a very small state. But what if I could tell you that there are policies of government, fiscal policies of government, that can translate into a tripling of the size of Lagos? Let me tell you a story of how one such idea, and I know I'm running fast out of time, but you will indulge me. This is a topic that's very close to my heart. Imagine if we connected all the states of Nigeria by rail, and you could travel between Lagos as far as Kwara State, Ekiti State, Kano State by rail, fast rail. You could live in Ekiti and work in Lagos. What do you think that will do for the economy of Ekiti State, Osun State, or your state? Right now, the only state that's benefiting from Lagos State is Ogun State. A lot of people live in Ogun State and work in Lagos. Imagine if you could live in Oyo State and work in Lagos. Take a train in the morning, go back by train in the evening. Imagine all the rest stops along the way. So what if we had a policy around, we're going to motivate towards rail transportation on a large-scale basis, not on an opportunistic basis as we're doing now. And for every company that invests in rail infrastructure, we're going to give you a credit. In other words, rather than expect government to spend the money, you spend the money, like we did with the road infrastructure scheme. You build the rail, and then deduct it from the tax you pay government. Targeted development, just ideas. This bill is one of the things that makes it possible for some of these things to go on. Let me go back to my slides. Sorry, I should have muted that. Apologies. So those are the key provisions around small companies, and now you can leverage them. Other things done by this legislation, I've already spoken about the economic development incentive, which replaces pioneer status. But like I said, what that does, I'm not really sure how that's a good replacement. I understand the theory of it. The theory of it is that, look, why give you a pioneer status? I'll just give you a tax credit. Calculate your tax for that year, and what you don't pay is what I forbear. That's your incentive. And by the way, I allow you carry the credit forward indefinitely, but you must consume it within 5 years. So really, all you are getting is your capital allowances, which you are deemed to have consumed. The difference between that incentive and the old one was that under the old pioneer incentive, you are deemed to have acquired all your assets the day following the expiration of your pioneer status. Which means that in theory, what you are doing is, 1, you don't pay tax, 1, and then 2, you use your capital allowances as a tax offset for the next 5 years. And that can work injustice, because you can actually carry that capital allowance forward indefinitely beyond 5 years. So what the government has now done is to say, you know what, I'm going to assume that you have consumed all your capital allowances, so no carrying anything forward anymore. The only thing you are carrying forward is your tax credit, which will be minuscule. And even if you carry it forward, after 5 years, it's gone. So I think companies are going to be worse off. But again, there's a logic behind that. Hopefully FRS will also look at that again. Other things it does, and remember, I'm just giving you highlights here. It provides revised rates and bands for personal income tax. And you've heard people speak about this extensively. So if you are earning below 800,000 naira, you don't even need to worry about tax at all. There had been discussions, some calculations derived that it will lead to a small increase in PIT rates for most people. But I heard Mr. Idile on TV the other day saying that actually is not expected to happen. So I think the overall marginal rate declines by 1%. So for those of you, and I believe everybody here is a high net worth individual, most lawyers are. So your effective tax rate should be about 18%. Previously used to be 19%. So there's something in this for everyone. Mr. Agbadibo probably doesn't like the idea of you getting less tax, but there it is. So everybody gets something. We're all going to be paying less at about 18%, where previously we were paying 19%. But they've taken away our consolidated relief allowance, our 200,000 naira. If only you had left that 200,000 naira for us, Mr. Agbadibo. But hey, it's gone, so let's not cry over split milk. Overall, we're all better off for this legislation. And then there's now a clear deadline or timeline for resolving tax disputes. So previously, you could file a tax objection with the FRS when they serve you an assessment. And some of the assessments are scary. When you get the assessment, you feel like going and hiding under your blanket, close down shop for the next 5 years, run away to Timbuktu, never to be found again. So you object, and FRS doesn't say anything for another 2 years. And you are thinking, oh, maybe they've forgotten. No, they haven't forgotten. FRS, forget money, never. They will write back to you after 2 years, say, oh boy, where is this money? Now, the tax law has given a time limit. If they don't come back to you within a particular time, then they themselves get statute barred. And I think that's a good thing. It brings certainty into tax administration. It also puts FRS under pressure to do the right thing. We have an expansion of recoverable input VAT. This is really, really incredible. I personally don't know how Nigeria is going to finance this, but it's there in the law. We now allow recovery of input VAT on all sources, whether services. So, okay, step back. Previously, under the old regime, Nigeria actually started from here. When VAT was initially introduced, everything could be offset. Then we realized we had a problem. We couldn't finance it. So we started putting pegs in place to stop a diminution of federal revenue. One of the pegs we put in place was, look, we will limit your recovery of input VAT to only goods imported directly for resale or input VAT consumed in the production of new items. So if you are consuming products that are VATable to produce bottled water, I think there's a court decision that water is not even VATable. But let's assume water was VATable. You produce water, then your input VAT on the items you imported or bought to do this, you can recover. And anything beyond that, you expense that through your P&L. Expensing it through your P&L from a modeling perspective means that you never get your VAT back 100%. You only get back 30% of what it cost you, because you have to assume that cost and granulate a 30% tax rate on it. So what you get back on your VAT is just 30%. The rest is consumed by you. The law has now changed to say all your VAT can be recovered, including the one on fixed assets. Now, that is remarkable because, typically, when you ask an accountant for the value of a fixed asset, this building, for example, it's not just the value of the component items that you bought. The accountant will tell you that all costs associated, so even your shipping cost, your duty, your VAT, everything that is associated with the construction will be capitalized as the value of the building. So there was no scope to recover the VAT on that because it's part of the building, right? Now the law is saying that you can recover that VAT upfront as a line item. So we, in our models, anticipate that there's going to be a huge pressure on the Federation account when the VAT inflow reduces on account of people offsetting their VAT. What was intended to provide succor to the government was an increase in rate, and the committee actually proposed to increase the VAT rate to about 12%, 15%, they reduced 12%. At some point, they were even willing to take 10%. And we all witnesses to the National Assembly ultimately saying, no, stay at 7.5. I think this will have to be revisited. And I think it should be revisited before 1st January 2026. At 7.5%, the country won't be able to run this scheme. The country will be flat broke. And if you think about it, over the last 2 years, there have been months where the only revenue available for states to share at FAC has been VAT revenue. So let's not throw away the egg, the golden egg, the geese that produce the golden egg. Let's not throw it away with the bathwater. So I think this will have to be revisited, but that's what it does. As of today, from a taxpayer perspective, all your VAT can be recovered. So we can sing hallelujah, but I will say, not yet uhuru. So I expect there will be some change to that. And beyond allowing you to recover your VAT, the other thing that we did back in the days of the military was that we introduced zero-rated items and exempt items. And on exempt items, you couldn't recover your VAT. On zero-rated items, you could recover some VAT. But on exempt, you couldn't recover. Now, we've moved items away from the exempt list and pushed most of them into the zero-rated category, which means even more VAT recovery for taxpayers. So VAT recovery for taxpayers is a very good thing. Being able to finance it, and it's a good one that Biola will hear. Learned Silk, Biola Sani SAN. Professor Biola Sani SAN. Should I also add High Chief to it? Are you a chief, sir? Professor Abiola Sani SAN. You're welcome, sir. So you came in at the right time, Professor, because I was just saying that it was a very good thing that the legislation now introduces recovery, input VAT recovery, for much more categories than previously existed. But I'm also raising a red flag in terms of ability to finance the recovery and the implication for the Federation account as a result of diminution of revenue, since the tax rate has not been increased. I know the committee proposed an increase in the tax rate, and the National Assembly demurred. So I believe that that work is not yet completed, and I would appeal. I believe that the FRS and the committee, I think the rate has to go up. So we'll talk about that. But then the question is, how do you finance it, you see? Because if you're going to allow total input VAT recovery, and you're also expanding the list of zero-rated items, which means that more VAT recovery as well, the results will be much less VAT accruing to the pool. Okay, so maybe when you come to talk to us, you'll show us how that will be addressed. Thank you very much. The other thing that so that takes me also to my risk areas, which you will see on the right side of the screen. Go back to one slide. Yep. So one of the risk areas I identified in the NTA is the introduction of the CFC, or at least an initial introduction of what we call CFC rules. But this applies differently in the imagination of the Nigerian tax lawmaker than the way it operates in some other countries. In some other countries, the CFC rules are a basis for dragging businesses into the tax net. In Nigeria, we've limited it to only subsidiaries, only foreign subsidiaries of Nigerian groups. So that the way it should then work is that if you're a subsidiary, then CFC rules can apply. But I think that's more, if you think about the application of that, how many Nigerian companies have foreign subsidiaries? There's only one sector of the economy where that's prevalent. Sorry? Well, that's your opinion, Learned Silk. I will not disagree with you, but neither will I agree publicly, because it's a very sensitive sector. It's a highly sensitive sector, one of Nigeria's most profitable sectors. If you like, the diamond in the trough, if you like, because so many other sectors are struggling with profits, and that's the sector that's been doing well over time. And my question is, why are we attacking that sector? Or are we attacking that sector? Are we trying to? Because the solution is simple, right? So look, in the last 5 years, South Africa changed their rules to make South Africa a destination for incorporation of holding companies. They want holding companies to be situated in South Africa. And they give them all sorts of incentives, including, oh, you won't pay tax on the, Nigeria is saying the other one. If you make Nigeria your holding company location for structuring purposes, then all the members of the constituent group will pay tax in Nigeria. Is that really what we want to do? Like I was saying to Mr. Gbadebo before we started this program, the tax fiscal policy people should be thinking about how to grow this economy, how to make it greater, not how to shrink it. So we shouldn't be discouraging multinational groups from Nigeria. We should be encouraging them to actually come to Nigeria. There are companies in the world. If you think of a country like Mauritius, what's in Mauritius? Who's been to Mauritius? It's just a small island. There are thousands of companies registered in Mauritius. The only thing it is a financial investment trading center. You go and set up your holding company in Mauritius. And because you're not trading in Mauritius, they don't tax you. But if you are trading in Mauritius, you pay tax at 1%. So Nigeria is going along a direction where some Nigerian companies have naturally grown to the point where they are now beginning to birth subsidiaries in other countries. And the first thing we want to do is discourage them by slamming additional tax on them. I'm not sure. I think that should be revisited. It can be defended because from a tax policy perspective, this activity is happening within the country. Why shouldn't they pay tax? Yeah, they should pay tax. But you must do it in a way that doesn't discourage them from doing the business that they do. Besides that, another area of risk that I identified is the introduction of the minimum effective tax rate. And why I see that as a risk, firstly, I think it's a brilliant idea. It follows the global basis for taxation of the digital economy and profit shifting among multinationals. So I can understand where this is coming from. But we have to be a little bit more rigorous in how we draft our own rules in Nigeria. Because now I'm thinking as a risk expert now, thinking what could go wrong. So think of every venture capitalist. And there are Nigerian companies that have received venture capitalist funding from foreign companies in the last few years. In fact, Nigeria became the destination for venture capitalists in Africa. If you think of companies like Flutterwave, Paystack, that achieved capitalization of $1 billion USD from foreign investors. Now, a lot of Nigerian companies are attracting foreign investment. The problem is that with this law, it's likely that they will be considered as members of a multinational group of companies. Also, of course, there's also the revenue threshold, 20 billion naira, but even if you leave that. So even if you were a small company and you have a foreign investor in you that has more than 50%, if you receive funding from IFC or World Bank or Actis or any of those other guys, you become a part of a multinational group, and your effective tax rate is now 15%. Now, that would be a tax on capital. So I think that, again, it may not work that way, depending on the kind of rules that FRS comes up with. All I'm throwing up here is a risk that we can then address by rule making. But let's be careful that we don't throw the baby away with the bathwater. We want investments to keep coming into Nigeria. We want Nigerian companies to be able to continue to grow without taxing them at a point that simply discourages investments from coming in. And the last one that we'll highlight on this page is the limitation on tax exemption benefits available to free zone entities. I think that one is very obvious. I don't need to spend time on that. So that's on the ease of doing business side of things. I think on the other page, on the next page, I still have a few points in terms of positives and areas for improvement. I think on positives, I have issues around business restructuring benefits on transfer of tax assets, which were previously a bit murky. And so FRS will tell you that when you do a merger, you can't transfer unutilized capital allowances or transfer losses, Section 29 of CETA. I think a number of lawyers here are familiar with the structuring practice where you have to go to court to obtain a court order, a positive court order, directing the transfer of those assets because the tax authority might otherwise feel that the assets are not capable of being transferred. That's not been addressed in the NTA. The NTA now allows a transfer of tax assets in the consequence of a merger. Only thing I will say there, even though I list it as a positive, I'll still suggest that we can still look at it again, because it's gone from one extreme to the other. You know, the other extreme was you can't transfer. Now you must transfer. But I think we need to get to the middle where it's left as a choice, an option for the taxpayer. If you want to transfer, and put it in your structuring document. And if you don't want, don't transfer. Because there's it's a commercial thing. I remember when we were doing the bank recapitalization exercises around 2012, 2013. For many of the banks, they were so leveraged that the only thing they had left as assets were their tax assets, their deferred tax assets. So for many transactions, what we were really buying from those banks, any of those distressed banks, was their tax assets. So in those cases, obviously, the tax assets have to transfer. But there are other cases where the company might say, actually, no, I'm not going to let you take my tax assets. We grew those within the group. I'm going to transfer that to another member of the group, not necessarily to the person that bought my company. So is that possible? In the UK, it's possible to do that. You can transfer your tax assets to other members of your group. So is this the time? Because we've now introduced elements of group taxation. Should we go the whole hog and make it possible to treat groups like groups? Transfer your tax assets within your group and let companies then be forced to pay a commercial value. So if you want to buy my company, my tax assets are worth X. It should be something that just goes to you automatically. Pay me a value also for my tax. And if you can't pay that value, I hold on to my assets and find some other value for it somewhere. So I list it here as a positive. I think what's been done is hugely, hugely commendable. And we'd like to see that go on. In addition, I'm going to be leaving these slides with you so you'll have time to go through them anyway. But there was something I wanted to highlight from a fiscal policy perspective to enable us to understand the area where we need to focus on a bit more. If you go to the next slide, I'll let you know when I get there. Next one. There's one where I have a chart, and we'll come back later on to e-invoicing. No, not the case study. There was a slide that had a chart that showed you the aviation industry, for example, this one. So what I wanted to illustrate here is the impact of tax. And when I use tax, I use it loosely, not only tax payable to the revenue service, also could be levies and charges and all. But if you go to the website of most of your airlines today, and you try to buy a ticket, you will come to a page like this when you book your ticket, where you see a summary of what the airline is getting and the total taxes. And what I wanted to illustrate here is this. So for an international ticket, the actual cost to the actual fare you are paying to the airline is $500,000 from Lagos to London. But all of us are going to pay $971. In some cases, the one I tried to book before I did this example, it was about $1.5 million. How do you mean? Please, Mr. Gbadebo is seated right to your right. It's important that we don't share this kind of information because you know you are more likely to be found there than me. So, but we agreed before the seminar started that Owonikoko SA and Synergy Associates have now exceeded the 5 billion naira threshold for fiscalization. So we shall be fiscalizing them after this seminar for e-invoicing. But gentlemen and ladies, about half of that fare is taxes. Now, most Nigerians complain about the high cost of this, high cost of that, high cost of this, high cost of that. Why does the government have to take? Why does government share? Government is not the one providing the aircraft. You're not the one providing the fueling. The company has to do all that and make a profit out of their 500K. And government itself is taking almost as much. Imagine if that could be crashed to a more reasonable rate, 30% of the airfare as taxes. Make that consolidated. So it's a suggestion to the committee, one free idea for you guys. See if you can take it on board. The way you've done development levy, where you've collapsed all the charges into one, taking that source and then sort out everybody that needs to be sorted out. You can also intervene in key areas. I just use this as an illustration. There are other areas like this, where you can say, you know, why are we paying all these charges? Just consolidate it, maximum 30%. Take it to any agency as you like and let Nigerians breathe. So it's just to illustrate that all those charges, by the way, are well intended. The philosophy behind them, logical. You are paying fine, they're going to clean this one, give you handling charges. So they're all legitimate charges, I promise you. Nothing here is excessive. It's when you look at the big picture that you begin to see the effects. And that's where we need to get to in the area of tax planning. Now, because of time, I'm actually jumping back and forth, but I've illustrated that now. If you go to the slide, which one is it? The one on revamp of tax laws? Next slide. Yeah. So here, I don't know if, I think this is the one where I commend I spoke about the development levy a few minutes ago. I commend the legislature, because they are the ones to be commended now, no longer the committee. The committee was commended for the bills. But once the law is passed, it's now the National Assembly that takes credit. So we commend the legislature for introducing that development levy idea. Because all of a sudden, we don't have to worry about NASENI, we don't have to worry about police, levy, TET, and so on. All these little foxes that were spoiling our vine. We now pay a lump sum development fee, and government on the back end does what needs to be done. My question, though, to the FRS and to the fiscal committee represented by Mr. Sani, is how do you prevent a future legislature from doing what you have recently undone? Because the problem was always legislative behavior, tacking tax to bills. And just, oh, I'm doing a police act. Oh, yeah, let companies pay 1% of profit before tax. Oh, I'm doing housing for, oh, yeah, companies pay this one. So how do you, because there's that principle that a legislature cannot bind a successor legislature. So how do you do it such that in another few years, we don't find ourselves back in this same problem of multiplicity of taxes, and you have to do another development levy too, and so on. So I hope Professor Sani will be able to give an opinion on that, on what can be done beyond sensitization and constant engagement, which I know you will continue to do anyway. So the legislation also gives support for digital and informal economy integration. We've been joking about e-invoicing, but the lawmaker actually pushed a model that's based on an EU model for fiscalization. Now, that model has only been used in a few countries so far as I know, Mexico being one of them. Ghana started it, but I think Ghana suspended after a few months of trial. So Nigeria is blazing the trail where that's concerned, and it's a huge one. What they're saying is that if your business is that big, you shouldn't issue an invoice without going through a portal that allows you to align with the tax authority. The legislation has been going in this direction since 2020, but now it has brought it to life properly. And on the basis of this legislation, FRS is now doing a study, leveraging a few big taxpayers as a case study, to enable them towards the end of the year, issue regulations that will allow all companies in that basket to actually adopt e-invoicing. What it means is that you will have to connect your enterprise resource planning software, your ERP, whether you're using Oracle, SAP, whatever you're using, Sage for small companies, you can integrate that with the FRS. And they have about 81 to 85 touch points, data fields that you have to fill out and connect where the software can actually speak to each other and retrieve information without bothering you. And that information enables initially FRS to compare what they're receiving from you on a routine basis from either VAT, withholding tax, income tax, with what they have on their records. Actually, between you and I, it's just a very small step between that and connecting that to payment. Because the guys that are going to be your SIs, that are going to be helping you integrate the software, are typically payment vendors anyway. There are people who, today, you could actually make payments through. They're the ones that have the technology. So I reckon that in a few years' time, that fiscalization is going to go beyond data gathering. It's going to go into actual payments, real-time payments, such that as you are paying for your item, think about it going to ShopRite to buy something. And as you are paying at ShopRite, the money for the merchant is going into his bank account, the one for FRS is going straight to FRS account with no intermediary. and the information is out there, which means that in terms of auditing is simple. There's no need for FRS to send anybody to ShopRite to go and audit anymore. Everything is software-based. So the only thing they need to check is whether you have capacity within your organization to override your systems. And if they check that and they see that you don't have capacity to override your system, then they can rely on the system. Now, that doesn't mean that systems can't make errors, right? But if a system makes an error, believe me, it's not a human being that will spot that error. It's only another system that can interrogate and see that error. Because systems, the computer can treat millions of transactions in a minute. There's no human being that can do that. So to even begin, it's just like all those banks. Was telling me before we came in to speak to you about what CITN. CITN is the Association of All Tax Advisors in Nigeria. You know, I'm a fellow of the CITN. Mr. Ohagwe is the current chairman, president of the CITN. He's an ex-FRS director. Now, these are people that are very knowledgeable about tax. They were also part of the work. And Professor Sani has been a long-standing member of CITN for as long as I can remember. Very active, very participatory. These guys understand exactly what has been done. And they've been putting seminars together. I think they've been doing one now for about 2 days. One of my partners, Mr. Ogungbero, was speaking at one yesterday at the CITN, and we support CITN. So I would like to encourage as many of you as are not members of CITN, but who have interest in tax, to please join the CITN. And then avail yourself of the training opportunities that they offer to their members and to the public at large. Even if you're not a member, register and attend their seminars to pick up information about what has changed. Because what CITN will also do for you is that they will give you worked examples. You know, and worked examples are good because they tell you a path you can follow. Of course, you have your own opinion. You don't have to agree with them about how the law should be interpreted, but at least you can understand the principles of it. This is how it can be, and then you can then show your own individual streak. So I'd recommend to taxpayers to get training. Don't wait for your tax consultants to come and teach you. You need to acquire that knowledge yourselves, download the laws, read the laws, join the seminars, get trained, and get ready. Because this change is coming to you sooner than you think. Fiscalization is next door, literally. And all these other things that we spoke about are also literally next forward. Let me go to the slide that says next steps and close with that. Thank you. So in terms of next steps, we've all got to prepare for the rollout and develop our individual compliance strategies, update our internal policies and systems and processes, conduct regular tax process reviews and assessments, stay updated and engage with our tax consultants. 2, especially for a high net worth business, you've got to understand the impact of these laws on your business. If you are now going to be able to recover your VAT, that means you will have more disposable, more investable funds at your disposal than you had before, because all of a sudden you'll have more liquidity. And like we all know, businesses don't die because they make losses or because they don't have profits. Businesses die when they run out of liquidity. So liquidity is the cash, is the lifeblood. It's like the blood in your veins. So giving you your VAT back is an injection of blood into your system. You've got to have a plan for how you spend that money. Because also, if you don't have a plan for that, if you have too much blood in your system, I believe there's also a consequence. It's not necessarily a good thing. So that's why they will tell some people, go and donate blood. When you go to the hospital and present yourself, doctor says, okay, you know what? Just go next door and go and donate blood. That's your solution. So what do you do with the additional revenue? What's the impact of these new laws on you? If you're part of a multinational group, which part of your group is exposed to risk? Who will have to pay that effective tax? Is it you? Is it that the group has to come and register? You need to understand the impact of all these laws on you and engage with your tax lawyers, your tax advisors to give you that advice and prepare for implementation on 1st of January 2026. And you need to be able to train your staff to be able to manage this. And the third one is capacity building, engaging stakeholders, management, suppliers, vendors, employees. People need to know exactly what's going to happen to them. We have, even for us at KPMG, we are receiving communication from some of our large clients telling us that on account of this, they want to have a meeting with us to understand, so that they can communicate to us what changes they are making to their ERP. You know, especially in this era of data privacy, you can't just hand over clients or vendor information willy-nilly just because FRS asked. Sometimes you need to obtain the consent of the data subject to share their information under the NIDA provisions around data privacy. So you need to comply with data privacy rules. Meanwhile, you also need to comply with the NTA to disclose information. So there are protocols you need to follow. This thing is a real game changer. Like I said, it applies in very many unintended consequences. So let's get ready. Let's obtain a detailed understanding of the law and be able to effect its provisions. The last thing I was asked to do was to talk about e-invoicing, but I believe I've done so in the course of this presentation, and I won't take more of your time doing so. So on this note, I'd like to end and take any questions that may arise.
A round of applause for Mr. Olomola, please. I recall when we were downstairs speaking, I told him that if he ever decided to become a politician, I definitely will vote for him. As you would have noticed, he's eloquent, he's convincing, and indeed very knowledgeable on the subject. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us today. We indeed have enjoyed from that. Even though it was 45 minutes, you were able to put a lot into that. Just for everyone's notification, we will have questions, a segment for questions at the end of all the presentations. Also, this is an NBA accredited event, so ensure that we'll scan this for your CPD point, those online. Also, papers will be passed around for people who are here physically. I would also just like to quickly recognize Professor Abiola Sani, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, who walked in. He had been with us virtually and has now appeared physically. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us. And on that note, I would now like to move on to the next presentation. The topic is the jurisprudential underpinnings and tapestry of the 2025 new tax laws in Nigeria. I'm sure that topic is a giveaway. Our next presenter is the Senior Advocate of Nigeria and the Dean, Faculty of Law, University of Lagos. He began his teaching career in the Obafemi Awolowo University as a junior trainee fellow in 1991. He transferred his services in 1999 to University of Lagos, where his career has flourished. In 2002, he won the prestigious Fulbright Fellowship for Foreign Scholars at the International Tax Program of Business School of Law, Temple University, Philadelphia, USA. He's a thoroughbred professional with robust multidisciplinary background who has served in different capacities at the national and state levels. He is a member of the Presidential Fiscal Policy Tax Reform Committee. Till date, has also served as the chairman of the National Tax Policy Review Committee, far back as 2016, and the chairman of the National Policy Implementation Committee in 2017. He maintains a work-life balance and a member of social clubs, including the Octagon 90, FS Club, House of Commons, Science Boys, amongst others. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the very distinguished Professor of Law, Leonard Silk, Professor Abdul Oseni, as he takes the stage. Thank you so much, sir.
Good afternoon. Sincere apologies for the mix-up. Taking it for granted that this will be online. All the MBA accredited events, I've done them online. So I sincerely apologize for any inconvenience that the hiccup might have occasioned. Let me start on a note of appreciation to Juwerat and the Synergy attorneys. My learned brother Silk, thank you for inviting me. I can see in the audience already a lot of dignitaries, a lot of learned Silk. In order not to waste time, let me use my friend, Mazi Victor Okpara, senior advocate, as a point of contact to greet all the senior advocates here present. Because as a matter of protocol, I should identify everyone individually. So, Ajibola, Olomola, thank you so much. Thank you for the energy you always bring to illuminate the esoteric subject of taxation. Because of your experience and multidisciplinary perspectives, there's a way you make everything so easy. So it's my fortune that you spoke before me. So I'm just going to build on the good foundation that you have already laid. Then, Mr. Gbadebo, good to see you again. So just permit me to dive into this. So those are my coordinates if you need to contact me for further interrogation or so. Go to the next slide. This is the overview of my presentation. I'm going to focus on the shift because that is the theme of this discourse. So there was an old order or even an existing order because the implementation still tarries till 1st of January, although for one act, not all of them. So there is an existing order. So what is going to change? So that will be the focus of my presentation. And I'm going to speak to the broad shifts and also to specific shifts under different tax types. So I'm going to take you through what will change radically. And Jibola emphasized that it's a game changer. So what aspect are we going to see manifest changes? And also, in what specific areas are we going to see changes under specific laws? Then I'm going to spend a bit of time on Nigerian Tax Act because that's the fulcrum of the reform. The rest they have to do with establishing institutions, reforming institutions, empowering institutions, or creating new ones. So the meat of our discussion is going to be on Nigerian Tax Act, and I'm going to take you through it while underscoring some salient points. Then we'll look at a few salient legal issues. I won't say I'm entirely correct on some of these things, but as an intellectual, I'm comfortable to put some of them in the public opinion and say, let's see them together and let's see whether anyone among us will make sense at the end of the day. Because we cannot have this type of intervention without giving serious thought to how law could be, not only how law is. So can you go to the next one, please? So now, let me open, excuse me, let me use my own, because I can hardly see that really. Yeah. What? It's bolder, okay. Well, let me just open. All right. So there is no doubt that Nigeria faces severe fiscal challenges. Our entire budget is a peanut. It's not even up to what Harvard Business School alone generates in terms of endowment. So if we need to fix so many things, we need an audacious budget and also value for money budgeting, so that we do not just have high value budget, but money going to the right thing that we can see physically. So the last tax reform was over 20 years ago. So on August 8th, there was an inauguration of Taiwo Oyedele's committee, of which I'm privileged to be a member. But let me make a caveat at this stage. I'm speaking not as a member of that committee. I'm speaking in my private capacity as Abiola Soni. And much more, I'm speaking as a scholar. Because as being a scholar gives me the liberty to make interrogations and even to critique. Because I can't go to my class and just say, clap for the new tax law, clap for, we are going to tear it apart in order to test a lot of things in that provisions. And my students are excited. Yeah. I'm not deceived by that. So now, the president has assented to 4 bills. On the 26th of June, the gazetted copy, I don't know when you saw it, but I know your access is very legendary. But I saw it sometimes on the 26th of July, 2025. That's when you saw it too. I wasn't even sure whether it was real because I was looking for the ink. I was looking for the signature, which I couldn't find. But there was electronic signature. And we have validated the gazetted copy anyway. So now we have Nigerian Tax Administration Act number 5, 2025, Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Act number 4, 2025, Joint Revenue Board of Nigeria Establishment Act 2025 number 6, then Nigerian Tax Act number 7, 2005. In terms of sequencing, we should have had the Nigerian Tax Act as the number 1. Because every other thing builds on the Nigerian Tax Act. But that is just by the way. Lawyers must note the proper citation of these acts in line with Section 21 of the Interpretation Act, which says how you refer to a statute. You call a statute by the number of the year in which it was enacted. And if it is consolidated, you continue to refer to it by the reference in the Consolidation Act. So focus, there is nothing called Tax Reform Acts anymore. All those colloquial languages should stop, especially in the circle of lawyers. Oh, Tax Reform Act. There is nothing so called. If you write that in an exam, in a university exam, you are not going to get any mark. Okay? So now, the focus will be on the major shifts between the old and what is to come. And I now come to the broad shifts. So there is a shift from what I call one legislation, one tax, that mirrors that book. One man, one wife, one man, one merchant. You know, because we have a standalone law, legislation for each tax type. So that has been swept away and now replaced with one federal taxing statute and also one federal tax administration statute. So in the federal taxing statute, you have the charging provisions of each tax type, all consolidated into chapters. And also, you know, in the past, the provisions for each of the taxes, each of the tax law also contain administrative provisions, which then resulted into overlapping and sometimes even inconsistencies and confusion. So all the administrative provisions in each of the tax laws have now been taken out and then also consolidated in a single statute, which is Nigerian Tax Administration Act. So you are not going to see different offenses for the same thing in different provisions across the tax ecosystem. So if you fail to register for any particular tax, it's the same offense and the same penalty. Is that not simple? Very simple, very easy. So the obligations are quite straightforward. And then you now have one law where you have all the important provisions relating to charging, relating to what is taxed, who is the taxpayer, the basis of liability, what are the procedure for computation of the tax, the chargeable tax, then what is the rate, what are even the reliefs. So all those you will not find under separate tax statute. Where will you find it? Under one law. When I started my journey as a tax teacher, there were provisions I searched in vain over a period of a week or more before I could find them. Some did not exist. So it's now easier. It might seem simple, but yet very, very useful. Okay? Now, the same way about the administrative provisions you now see in the NTAA. So the next one is re-establishment of FRS. I'd interrogated this when we started the work. Are we thinking of a new wine, an old wine in a new bottle? But through the process of engaging, I then realized the basis. FRS Establishment Act was enacted in 2007. Before then, FRS used to be a department in the Ministry of Finance. So all the quantum leap that Jibola was speaking about came about because we had a separate statute empowering FRS to become a semi-autonomous body. But since 2007, everything had been in the cooler. Even harmful provisions that we could have reviewed the following year. Even attempt to address some of them through the Finance Act had not resulted into the desired result. So now, this is an opportunity to now reinvent